Your kitchen doesn't need a full makeover. It needs space. We bring things in because they seem useful, but suddenly the kitchen is overstuffed. And in this video, I'm showing you how to declutter your kitchen for good with simple systems and small edits that will make such a big difference. Oh, I'm so excited about this. Let's get started. If you're like me, you're starting to receive these aspirational catalogs or even emails from companies that make you think that you're going to be able to become a fabulous baker if you just order the things that they're offering, right? And I used to fall for things like this. In fact, I had so many of those gadgets and things that they said would work in my kitchen. So looking through this catalog, there are just so many things that I could point out to you, but I'm going to use this one as an example right here. Not sure if you can see that, but it's for a quiche. And so you put this thing in your quiche pan, and therefore you don't have to use a knife to cut out the slices of your quiche. Would you really want to store something like this? If you fall for a seasonal item like this that they try to trick you into buying, if you fell for that last year or in previous years, really evaluate, are you using that item? And if the answer is no, then you can for sure declutter things like this. So a system that I use in order to prevent myself from making a mistake purchase like this, don't open it up, because things that are in this catalog will tempt you. And if you get tempted, then you're going to order it, and then you'll have to store it, and then you'll have to declutter it eventually. So just stop right there, walk it straight over to your recycle bin and toss it out. And if you want to take it a step further and you want to ensure that you're not going to be tempted in the future, go ahead and call the number on the back and have them take you off their mailing list. And if it's an email, unsubscribe or just simply put it into your junk folder. If you're working on making space for what really matters, don't forget to subscribe. I'd love to have you here. Something that I heard a few years ago from the Minimal Mom, she talked about the makers. What are the one-use makers in our kitchen that we can part ways with? I almost bought this, the cake pop maker. Obviously, from its name, you can tell that it did one job. That was it, just one job. So if I was the type of person that constantly loved cake pops, it would be a good investment. And I want you to think about that. Is the item that you have that's a maker in your home or your kitchen cabinet, is it something that is worth the space? Because for me, that cake pop maker was absolutely not worth the space. So if the answer is no for you too, you need to go ahead and let that go. We're going to call this decluttering item something that came with something else. Now this is my little crepe griddle, and these are the two tools that it came with. But if I didn't use my griddle for making crepes, which I do, and I use it for other purposes as well, or I didn't find that I was using these tools, those are the kinds of things that you can declutter. We have so many of these things that make their way into our house, right? And we feel tempted to keep those things, but really evaluate, are you using them? And if the answer is no, you can feel free to let them go. Just because something came with something else, that doesn't mean that you need to keep it. I used to be such a big collector of pots and pans. I have 3 working burners, and on a day-to-day basis, I think at the most I use 2. So I had to ask myself, why do I have all of these pots and pans in my kitchen? And I just started noticing what I'm using and what I'm not. Sometimes it's just that simple. To pay attention to what you're actually using. And then you're going to have the information that you need for this next step, which is to take out any of the things from your kitchen cabinet that you're not using. And at the end of the month, if you haven't used those pots and pans, ask yourself this next question. Do I need it for a holiday or some kind of special get-together? Does it still have a use? And if that is true, you might even want to locate that in a holiday bin so that it's not clogging up your cabinet. And for the rest of the things, let them go. They don't need to stay in your cabinet, because I bet during the month where all of that stuff is out of the cabinet that you don't use, you're going to notice a huge difference in being able to get in and out of that cabinet to get the things that you actually do use. Now you might be asking yourself, how did she pack all of the things that she's talking about into this cabinet? The answer would be not easily. But My system that I have in place has helped me out so much. And that is I have these risers here and the stand here. I put the pans that have handles far to the back so I can easily just pull them out like that. It makes all the difference. And here I have my most frequently used items, and it's taking up the entire space here. So I am very efficient all up and down here to the back. And on the bottom here, I'm still using that space with something flat, which is my griddles. System I absolutely have in place that really works for our family is that we only have the things we use on a day-to-day basis on our kitchen counter. Everything else gets put away. Now on this KitchenAid mixer, that is one item that is used about once a week, but I have no other place for it, and I just think it's pretty. You can see, even though this is a 10 by 10 kitchen, I have a lot of space to work with because I don't keep a bunch of things on my kitchen counter. So if your kitchen counters are clogged up and you find yourself just having to maneuver around things, even if they've been something that just has always been there. For instance, one of those little Keurig stands that you put the little pods in, if you're not even using that kind of coffee anymore and that stand is still there because it's always been there, those are the kind of things that you can declutter. One quick win that you can have today on decluttering is going through your utensil drawer or your crock. I know you might think that you don't have anything in there that you can declutter, but that's the area for me in my house that things just tend to accumulate. I don't know how it happens actually, but it does. And it makes sense to go through that at least a couple of times a year. So go through your drawer, go through your crock, see if there's anything that escaped you and made its way into those areas, and declutter it if you're not using it. One item a lot of us keep on our kitchen counter is our blender. I actually use mine for smoothies and acai bowls on a day-to-day basis, so it deserves the space on my counter. But if you have one and you never ever use it, it's time to let it go. Declutter that thing. And here's 2 more things that you can declutter today out of your kitchen that are obvious, but it is going to make such a difference in how much space that you have in there. And you would be shocked, just like I was after summer, and I'm going through my cabinets and I'm going through my fridge, and I was like, how on earth did we end up with so much stuff that we're not using or that I let expire? Now, unfortunately, we can't do anything about the expired ingredients that we didn't end up using, or a recipe that failed and we have the extra stuff and we're not going to use it. Those kind of things are just out of our hands at this point. So we need to make the decision to just move on. And one of the things that I do is to make sure that I'm stocked up on everything, but not only that, have a system in place to do it. Number 1 is I create a menu. Number 2, I have on my phone, just in my notes app, I have it broken down into different stores that I go to for different things. I usually go to Trader Joe's and Costco mostly, so we'll just use those as an example right now. When I run out of almond milk, for instance, for my coffee, I will put that on the list for Costco because that's where I buy it. And that little system helps me to not spend more money than I need to. So not only am I not going to forget something, but I'm not going to buy something that I think that I need, but I already have it at home. I put these little dividers into the drawer, and believe me, this is such a good thing, because before I did this, these little baby bells right here would be floating at the back of the fridge. I would never know what we had. And also the same story goes with cheese. We just would not be aware that we were needing some, or we had a whole bunch in the back. One thing I try to do in the fall is make sure that our cereals and our granola is all stocked up. I see I am completely out. Definitely need to be putting that cereal in these containers and loading it up so that everybody has what they need. And I would be absolutely shocked if you guys don't have the next category here of things that you can declutter, and that is storage containers. For whatever reason, these things just seem to multiply in our house. And I have a bunch of them, as you can see, but I do use these, and that is going to be my next system we'll talk about in a second. But I have everything that I need. And this little collection right here is actually less than I used to have even 6 months ago. So if you have any of these that don't have lids, or it's in a size that you just are not using, go ahead and let it go. Make space for the things that you do use. You're probably going to guess this next system, and that is to put things away after you use them. Having things that you use sit on the counter all day long, that's not going to create a dream kitchen, right? And sometimes they even get left overnight. So what I would encourage you to do is put it back as you use it. And not only that, but wash things up as you use them. So I just used my teaspoon. That is not going to go in my sink. I'm going to wash it up and I'm going to put it right back in the drawer. This basket is going to go back in the cabinet. Same with my sugar. Make sure that you don't create more work for yourself later by putting a system in place of putting things back and cleaning them up immediately after you use them. Believe me, it can make such a difference in how functional and efficient your kitchen will be. Things are coming along, adding the little finishing touches. There we go. And look how gorgeous that is. I hope this helped you clear out a little clutter and make space in your kitchen and maybe even in your day. If you love simple and minimalist living, decluttering and organizing, creating a cozy home, and ways to live your best life, make sure you subscribe to my channel. And also, if you're looking for more motivation and inspiration on decluttering and organizing, make sure to check out my channel page or the description below. And I'll see you in the next one.